Hi everybody, I wanted to give an update on what's been going on since Janet Yellen has been testifying to the Senate for the last 2 days. Quite startling information about what's been happened. I wrote an article about it, not just right now, called Fed Chair Janet Yellen plays dodgeball with Congress and gets tagged. And clearly the markets did not like what she had to say either, as a lot of nervous investors took note. Watching Congress tag Federal Reserve Chairman Janet Yellen with questions that lingered while she was testifying revealed alarming information. It's the fact that so much of it was revealed and open to the public in a way that was rather startling. Here's some of the things that went on yesterday, and I'll talk a little about what happened today. This is California Congressman Brad Sherman to Janet. "I feel like I'm at a ballroom dance on the deck of the Titanic." He literally said that in front of everybody. Here's several Congress members asking Janet Yellen, does the Federal Reserve legally have the ability to do negative interest rates like Japan and like Canada is thinking and other countries are considering? Other Congress members were like, why don't you use the real unemployment numbers in the United States instead of those artificial numbers which don't take into consideration people not looking for jobs and the limits of the part-time jobs? That was actually really startling because we know that anybody who follows the unemployment factor that Janet Yellen likes to, and the Federal Reserve like to use as their markers, know that the unemployment numbers are fake, they're not real, and Congress is coming out and tagging her with it like they're playing dodgeball. Here's another one. Why didn't you bail out smaller community banks instead of the corrupt Wall Street banks? This is several Congress members asking Janet Yellen this question. Half the congressmen repeatedly asked Yellen why no one went to jail for the 2008 crisis. I think this is an opinion here, and I believe I'm right. This is going to sound silly because the Oscars are coming up, and I pretty well think that people watched The Big Short, those who watched it instead of reading the book, and they now realize what really happened in the 2008 financial crisis, and now in Congress has seen the movie, and now they're more educated to talk about it. That's what I believe is happening. Heck, I'm more educated to talk about it after seeing the movie. It was a great movie. I recommend you go see it. Every single minority congressman, so if you were not Caucasian, every single congressperson addressed Janet Yellen with the same question. It was unbelievable. It wasn't even on my radar, but now I am more awake to this. They all asked about the inequality in the unemployment, not any other issue. They brought up the exact same issue as if they were a broken record, or some of the congressmen said, look, we're not in collusion here. I just have the same question. Janet Yellen was also called out on the Fed oil price predictions versus reality. See, we knew that oil back in 2010 was going down to $10 a barrel. I know it's at 30 right now, but it's going down to 10. So why didn't the Fed know? And the reason that we know is that we talk and we talk to alternative media people. Anyone who hasn't seen $10 Oil by Michael Maloney when he was in Sochi, Russia, needs to watch that video. You can get it on YouTube. This is the most interesting one, and this really kind of makes you realize just what type of authority the Federal Reserve has to ignore people. Wisconsin Republican Representative Sean Duffy threw the biggest questions at Janet Yellen. He had written and subpoenaed her over the ongoing probe into Fed leakage of material, inside information via Medley Global, and other undisclosed channels. The Fed decided to ignore him and skirt the issue, but Duffy was having none of it, and he cut off Yellen off and asking her and her organization if they were above the law. The Fed, which had been doing everything in its power to stall the said probe, but he was having none of it, and it was very clear that he was going to hold on. He was going to hound that issue. Duffy looked like he'd finally had enough and wasn't intimidated in the least. This is some of the words. I wrote this down. I had to send you a subpoena. You knew that I'm looking for these documents. You knew I was going to ask you about it today. So if you're not going to give me the documents, exert your privilege. Tell me your legal authority why you're not going to provide it to us. And Janet Yellen literally had to look back to her colleagues and talk about it. They clearly, there's something in there and they don't want to talk about it. Overall, though, to be honest, I thought Janet Yellen did a pretty good job. She admitted fairly open to Congress the limitations of the Fed. And today they talked about the Fed is really out of bullets, which is why a lot of the conversations today focused around negative interest rates, which the Fed has not decided to do, or they're just looking into the legalities of doing it. The means taken to dodge some heavy-handed questions is quickly fading from the chairperson and the rest of the central bank members. This is the way that the markets have reacted in the last few days is really alarming. I think the biggest reaction, though, is the price of gold. While every other market in the world is, not fallen deeply, like 2 or 3%, gold has gone up $60 at certain points today. That's the first time gold has gone up during a world financial market dip since the United States was downgraded from AAA rating to AA plus. That is hugely significant. Hugely significant. That tells me that people are starting to realize that, not quickly all at the same time, but they're starting to finally get the idea gold and silver are places to put your money. Anyway, I wanted to give you an update. I wanted to ask you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Come and check us out at moneyuncensored.com. We are putting up our service packages for people that are interested in financial strategies, both online or personal financial strategies, as we have financial advisors and strategists out there to help you figure out what to do with this financial market. Wherever you are in the world, we will try our best to help you out. And that's all I have to say for today. Take it easy.